So welcome to part 4, the last part of the little sequence on C diminished scales. Today we're going to concentrate on creativity and rhythms with the C diminished scale. The first way that you learn the scale is usually through sequences or patterns, and you need to know some of these, so before I say don't do them, let's show you what they are and you can learn them and forget them. Okay, so we're working with C diminished, and the first simple one is a situation where you take your third finger and split it on a chord tone, any one of the 4 chord tones. And start there and do this little pattern. And that's good for any one of the dominant scales, you know. And the 4 dominant scales, remember, from all the previous videos, which I hope you've seen, is the 4 in-between notes in the cracks between the 4 chord tones, meaning that D leads to E flat, so that's a D7th we're talking about here. F leads to G flat. S7th is good. G sharp leads to A, G sharp 7th is good, and B leads to C, B 7th is good. That's the way it works, and you don't get that, then you need to check out the other videos. So anyway, the patterns that I'm telling you about here and so forth are good for any one of the 4 dominants, like you're going to G, D7th is one of them. Another one is the pattern of fourths we talked about. A flat triad, D triad, A flat triad, D triad. Good pattern to know. Let's just take the 4th and put a leading tone to it. The next one is here. A flat 7th, and simply just outlining each chord tone. That's a rhythmic pattern. Another one is out of the 4 dominants we talked about, D7th and B and A flat, you can sort of outline the 4 7ths and stick one note above there, above your thumb, and you get this another really useful cliche up to B 7th to D 7th, F, or turn it around. But that's all sounds like the Berkeley Lick book, and you want to not do that. Okay, so what's the answer then? If the diminished scale has 8 notes, 8 out of the 12, it's almost everything anyway. How can you possibly comb out stuff and get it to have personality without sounding like you're just playing by yourself all the time with Jamie Aebersold play-along records? The answer is rhythm. Rhythm is the identifier. It's the maker of character to any set of pitches. Here's an example. Here's a little bit of a march for a second. It's a set of notes, such as it is. Let's change the rhythm around. Let's just assign a new rhythm to these same kind of conservative kind of notes. It goes. And so forth. I just played the Star Spangled Banner with a different rhythm a moment ago, and you probably didn't even recognize it. Okay, so then the information is not conveyed by pitches, it's conveyed by rhythm. Whether it's a march rhythm, a cutesy pie rhythm or a fragmented, weird rhythm. It doesn't really matter. Okay, another example is, here's a rhythm with no notes at all. 1, 2, 3, 4. You probably recognize that, I hope. Okay, you don't even need the pitches to explain, to speak your musical piece. Great. Well, how do you do this with diminished scales? Well, you can do the rhythmic patterns and so forth like that, which kind of leads to a trap. Or to begin with, you can assign rhythms from songs you know they're kind of good to your ear. For instance, let's do Billy's Bounce, the old bebop tune. If you don't know Billy's Bounce by Charlie Parker, look it up in the real book. It's an F blues. Okay, that's actually the notes in the C diminished scale. No kidding. Well, one of the dominant sevenths in C diminished is F seventh. Here's F seventh. Get rid of the F, you've got A diminished, which is really C diminished anyway. Okay, so here we go. You can steal rhythms. Another one is Olio, the original tune of Olio in B flat. And so forth. Just do it on some diminished notes. That's pretty interesting. You can almost do it anywhere, and the pitches don't matter. You cannot make a wrong note. You can't decompose the music because your rhythms are good. So let's work again with Stella by Starlight. Just to review quickly, again, refer to the real book. Stella by Starlight is usually in B flat. In the real book, you should learn it in C. You should learn it in all 12 keys anyway. Okay, first two measures, C diminished, D minor 7th, G minor, C 7th, F minor. Here in C again, it switches the key V minor through a B 7th. F 7th, you're simply, suddenly in the key of G. A minor, B, E 7th. And there's your A 7th. Lots of nice dominant 7ths in here. Okay, so now you can sort of jam on this, and here's the melody. So there's some rhythmic kind of animation, and you can do all kinds of stuff on that. Okay, now I'll jam a little bit more on that, and I'll try to use some patterns, some sequences, but I'm trying to stick the rhythm. You may find I do an extra note that's not in C diminished for a quarter millisecond or something, but let's not worry about that. Okay. Okay, now in the middle of this, a quick secret. It's really important. You can play very few notes and get a broken glass, hot quality if you do this one thing. Most people would, on C diminished, since they're having great difficulty in making music with this dumb scale are going to go for the C diminished notes. Maybe a scale, maybe even one of our little patterns, that's good. But if you want to have a lot of bang for the buck, go to the alternate notes. That's the passing tones, the D, F, G sharp, B. So in other words, instead of doing the first note of the melody as a C diminished chord with one note raised up, which is the correct melody, it happens to be a B, go to B diminished. That always works in this. So my point is, if you're jamming on a C diminished for a very short period of time, if you quote the C diminished scale or the chord, yeah, sounds like an old 1930s melodramatic movie. Just go for the D diminished or the B diminished. Here's that B seventh. B7. So you can have some kind of repetition and other stuff. So go for the alternate notes in C, and you'll be totally killing. It's sort of a melody generating system here, and mainly go for your stolen or borrowed rhythms. If you borrow something, it doesn't belong to you. If you steal it, you own it. So you can quote. Like that, and people will think you're kind of cute, Here's Mana de Carnival, And it's not these goofy pitches and broken glass, sort of fragmented stuff. It's the fact that you are charming the audience with kind of interesting rhythms and not the colorless sort of like that sort of crayon kind of practicing. If you get way up here and charm people with crackling, sparkling timbres rather, and your rhythms, tend to speak. Okay, we'll move on to F diminished next, when all it entails.